Hello. Welcome to my workshop. I'm Betty Coffman and you can't see me because I had to choose whether to set up my camera to capture the doll making, which is what I want everybody to see, or whether I wanted to set it up to see me, and I don't think any of you guys really want to look at me right now because honestly, I don't even want to look at me right now. Okay, so just a little bit starting out. I have several dolls that I have been working on for the last little bit. This is a Serenity sculpt. She is a custom baby. She's almost completely finished except for she needs her hair and eyelashes. So she's going to be going to my hair artist who lives in Florida. Yes, Florida, where the horrible hurricane just came through. My poor friend doesn't even have power right now, so that's a little bit of a struggle. Hopefully soon, though, we will be able to get some more heads to her so that she can get some of these babies finished up for me. I used to do all the rooting myself, but my sales have gotten a little bit ahead of me, and I'm not a very fast hair rooter. So instead of burdening myself trying to do everything, I have decided to outsource my hair rooting to someone who does a fantastic job. She just really makes these dolls come alive with the beautiful hair. She uses very, very soft mohair. It really adds realism to these dolls. So I'm very excited to be working with her. If you are wondering who she is, her name is Sharon Gregg, and she has Sharon's Special Treasures out of Florida. Alright, so pardon my chair because it's going to scream every time I move because I believe it's about 125 years old or something like that. So it may shriek, it may scream. Don't be afraid. So this is a Liam kit that I've been working on for a little while now. She's going to be a little girl. She's going to be hyper realistic, which means she's going to have lots and lots of extra dimensions and depth added to her skin. As you can see, she's already got quite a bit of detailing going on. I've highlighted her little creases and wrinkles several times. I've darkened inside her little ear holes, and I have shadowed around the nose, and some of the eyelid area I have darkened as well. But she still needs some other color variations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at her skin tone under these lights. Now, the light to my right is an LED light, so it's pretty bright. It allows me to be able to see what I'm doing pretty well. And then I have a light to my left, which sometimes I put a little barrier in front if it's too much glare coming from the plastic for me. But this is a full spectrum light, so it gives me all the colors of the rainbow. It's like being out in the sun. And it also gives me a little bit of a tan, so if you guys notice that, you see my pictures on Facebook and I look a little bit burnt in the face, it's because I've been spending a lot of time back here in the workshop. So I'm noticing here that she had just a little bit of hair, just a little tiny piece of hair, so I've got that off with my little trusty skewer. And then I'm just going to assess where I'm going to move forward for this piece. So what my goal is to have this little Liam head ready to go at the same time that the Serenity head is going to be traveling to Florida to get the hair put in. I like to send several at a time, so we do babies kind of in batches. I'm really striving and hoping and praying that we can get a ton of these dolls shipped out, even the later orders before Christmas, because one of the most happiest moments for me is when my customers receive their babies and they're elated and they love them and it gives them comfort. I think everybody does something, whatever it is in their life that they do for fun, for pleasure, for relaxation. There's always a deeper meaning to it. And I would have to say that for me, there are a couple of things that give a deeper meaning to my work. The first thing is that I have two daughters. I have one daughter that I gave birth to, and then I have another daughter. I consider her a daughter. She lived with us for a long time when my daughter Kate was growing up, and I love them both very much. I always wanted to have another baby, but God didn't really have that in his plan book, his playbook for me. So I haven't been able to have any more children. I adore babies. And one of the ways that I can kind of satisfy that craving, that yearning to have a baby again, is by pouring that desire out into the world of my work, the world of my art. And I do that. I really enjoy that. Another reason why I do this is because I have a difficult time in public situations. I have a lot of anxiety. I suffer from PTSD. I've had lots and lots and lots of trauma in my life that I am still honestly recovering from. I'm working every day very hard to recover and to get back to a functional state. It's not always easy. I don't know if you're familiar with PTSD, but basically it has been in quite a flare, and I kind of retreat back into my workshop. I retreat back here where this is a safe space for me. This is a place where I can create something that I love, that I enjoy. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's a place where I'm surrounded by beautiful images of babies. I'm surrounded by the crystals you can see here. I'm an avid crystal collector. And I'm just really surrounded by this pleasant, warm, loving energy. And so going along with that, the work that I do as an artist, I have a vision for every customer that comes to me. I believe that everybody has something in their life that becomes therapeutic for them. And with the history of these dolls and all the clients that I have worked with in my long career as a professional doll artist, I have met so many people who get so much comfort from these dolls. And I want to be a part of that. That's so rewarding for me because it's therapeutic for me to make them, and it's just a very heartwarming experience when I can wrap these little babies up and send them to homes where they're going to comfort and bring joy and happiness and feelings of love, to their new mommies and their new families. So that's exciting for me. The third reason that I pour myself into this work is I was raised by my grandmother, and about, I would say 9 years ago, I started out making these dolls because I had become a collector. And I was like, okay, one day I just thought, hey, I wonder if I can actually make one of these dolls. And so I got my little beginner's kit and I started to paint them. And the first thing, my sister and I did it together. The first thing we did was we drove to our grandmother's house and showed her our creations, and she was, they weren't that great because, let's be honest, it takes a long time to get good at this type of art. So she was very enthusiastic and very supportive, and she continued. My sister, she doesn't make Reborn dolls anymore, but I do. And my grandmother, all through the years, up until she passed away in 2014, the first thing I would do when I finished a baby was I would just get in the car, put the baby doll in the car, and I would drive to her house because she loved and supported my artwork so much. My grandmother passed away on my wedding night on June 14th, 2014. And it's still kind of a way that I feel close to her because she used to always say, oh, Betty, this doll that you made just now looks so much more real than the last. You're getting better and better. And she just loved to hold them. And I remember one time I took a doll that I was really proud of, and I took it back for her to see. And she made me get in the car and drive to one of her neighbor's homes so that we could go inside and she could show her neighbor this beautiful baby that I had made. And, that just really, having that kind of support and connection, that's a connection that I keep with my grandmother because she really supported me and she loved me, and not just in my doll art, but she supported me in every way. And this is kind of a way that I can kind of keep that connection close. So, I don't know if I've bored you to tears and you've decided to delete me from your hard drive. If not, please stay tuned. This is kind of a short video. I'm not going to be doing any painting in this section. I wanted to just kind of give everybody an idea of who I am, what I'm about, and, you know, the goals that I have for the projects that I'm currently working on. So I'll show you guys the rest of the baby assembly. So these are Liam's feet, and you can see that she's got quite a bit of the creasing done. She's got quite a bit of the patchy colors going on, but they're not quite finished. You can see that this is starting to be a little bit lifelike, but we haven't really moved her into the stages of the depth of the colors of the paint that I plan to get her into within the next couple of days. And then I have her little arms and her little hands. She's a really, really super cute kit. I really enjoy working on this sculpt a lot because it renders very, very nice, very, very lifelike. So you can see that again, I have done quite a bit of darkening in the creases. And I've done some of the darkening of the fingertips and around the nail beds. That's pretty important when we're building layers, because you know you don't ever want to bombard the vinyl with too thick of paint. So you'll see that there's some inconsistencies. There's a little bit of pallor here that I'm going to have to go back over and build up. That's kind of par for the course when you're reborning a baby, because sometimes the vinyl just doesn't do exactly what you'd like for it to do, and you just have to continue to work. You have to kind of be able to navigate as you go. One of the things that I always like to tell anyone who is starting out making these dolls is you can have 4 or 5 of the same kit. This is one of Serenity's hands. This is a beautiful, beautiful limited edition sold out kit from Laura Lee Eagles. She's about 19 to 20 inches when she's completed. And, you know, doing her painting in any doll, you can have 3, 4, 5, 6, it doesn't matter how many copies of the sculpt that you have. Each one is going to render differently. And I've found that a couple of different things happen when you're working with the vinyl. I like to say that these vinyl kits have personalities. And I think that they truly do, because they're poured from the same material, but they take on a different temperament. And I could do 2 of the same, 3 of the same, 4 of the same sculpt, and they're all going to look completely different. Even if I use the exact same paint colors, even if I use the exact same techniques, they're all going to be a little bit different. And that's part of the beauty of this artistry, is allowing these vinyl sculpts to come to life, to show you who and what they are, what's inside of the sculpt, right? So a couple things to consider that I consider when I'm painting. I consider the temperature in the room that I'm working. It's fairly stable. It's usually between 68 and 70 degrees, sometimes as high as 71 degrees in here as I'm working. I pay attention to the humidity in my workshop. That's a big concern. We live in a basement apartment, so basically part of our home is underground. And so sometimes if it's been raining quite a bit, or if it's really hot and humid outside, we can get a little bit damp in our apartment. And so that can affect how the colors come out in my paint. That can affect the behavior of the vinyl sculpt. And so each time I work on one of these dolls, I basically just kind of listen to the vinyl. I watch before I put them in to bake them and finish them up. I actually look at, what is this paint doing? What is this kit doing? Is the paint spreading? Am I getting some caking that I don't want? Do I need to thin? You know, all of these kinds of questions. And if you're interested and you want to watch me work, I welcome you to come back and watch me work. Eventually, I'm going to get brave enough to get the live stream going, but for right now, I'm probably just going to record short segments and then upload them to YouTube. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you will come back and you'll see me again. And if anybody has any questions about anything that you see in these videos, I'm always open to getting emails. It's littleblessingsboutiquedolls@outlook.com, and you can ask all of your questions via email. Eventually I'll be brave enough to set up the chat on the YouTube channel, but right now I'm just doing baby steps. So thank you again for joining me, and I hope that you will come back again soon.